AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
This program is made possible by Friends of the Varsity Media Foundation,
a 501c3 nonprofit educational organization.
You are listening
to the Varsity Sports Show.
You are listening to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona.
On AM 1060 KDUS Arizona.
Still the home of youth, high school, college, and youth in Arizona and beyond.
Welcome to the Varsity Sports Show. And now,
welcome to the Varsity Sports Show.
Welcome to the Varsity Sports Show.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. Vince DeLisio out and about with our amazing broadcast team. Every week we've had a chance to feature and spotlight some different folks with our crew. And today we are out at Saguaro High School in Scottsdale. Why, you might ask, are we out at Saguaro High School in Scottsdale? We'll be answering that question throughout the show. But first of all, let me welcome with us our two amazing broadcasters, Jodeci Ariana and Jacob Seaver. Jodeci, Jake, how are you both?
I'm good, Vince. How are you?
Good. It's Saturday morning. Was doing a lot of show prep last night and got up early this morning, out here set up. It's already like 90 degrees. Jake, how are you doing?
It is, and you mentioned the temperature. That's actually something that I was thinking about on my way up here this morning. It was a little bit nicer this morning, about 78. It's closer to 80 degrees driving in, so it wasn't too hot, but, you know, it's a nice Saturday morning. Happy to be out here at Saguaro High School.
So we got a lot of things going on today. Today we're featuring a couple of different sports. We've been covering baseball as we've been the broadcast team for a few different programs out there, notably Saguaro High School, Desert Mountain High School, Thunderbird High School. Had a lot of fun, did a little bit of work out at Buckeye as well, the Hawks. And today starts the postseason for all these teams. It's definitely some compelling matchups that we've seen. But also another thing that we're doing is we're covering a lot of lacrosse today. Women's lacrosse is one of the fastest growing sports in America, in Arizona, in America, and it's exciting. And I don't know if you guys were aware of this, but I'd let it be known quite often because I'm so proud of it that I'm the public address announcer for ASU Sun Devil Women's Lacrosse, and it is a sport that has really taken off. It's very fast-paced. It is literally hockey on grass, and we're introducing a new segment today called the ASU Lacrosse Coach Taryn Van Thoff show at 9 o'clock. It's a long segment. We've been trying to come up with a good name for the segment, but basically that's what it is. We're featuring Coach Van Thoff, who's brand new to ASU this year. She came over from the University of Florida, national perennial powerhouse Florida, and had taken over the Sun Devil program. There have been some growing pains. It's a young team. But we're also featuring the Arizona Girls Lacrosse Association and the four head coaches that will be competing in the Division I and Division II state championships this coming Friday night out at Higley High School. Two games that we happen to be broadcasting, and we are really excited about that. It's going to be some great matchups in there, some great lacrosse, and we're just privileged to be a part of all of this. Some other things going on today. So we've got some amazing guests today. We've got some amazing segments from our incredible team, but we'll be featuring the man, the myth, the legend himself, Saguaro SaberCat baseball coach Joe Mickey in our second segment today. Jake, you're bringing on a guy. Tell us about your guest today.
All right, we got Bill Coots. He's actually the father of a good friend of ours, Caden Coots, over at Thunderbird High School. He is their senior catcher, and Mr. Coots is going to come on the show today and talk about just the importance of what it means to be an athlete, what it means to kind of progress in your career with whatever sport you're playing. Really excited to have that opportunity to speak with him today.
Okay. We've also got Jodeci. You've got quite a guest that you're bringing on. You've got Gateway Community College baseball coach. Tell us about Coach Shabansky.
Yeah, Coach Savansky, I actually met him when I was interviewing one of their players who got Player of the Week, Traywin Gett. So just had a wonderful conversation with him. He's so excited to come on, so excited to just interview with us with JUCO sports, and that's my field. I love JUCOs. The JUCOs, they love us. They love getting our getting the word out about us. So yeah, I'm excited. They just came off a game against Scottsdale, and now they'll be in the playoff season.
Yeah, that's where I cut my teeth, is covering junior college sports on the show after ours, Easy Sports with Ed Smith and Javon Adams, and Coach Smith and I. Ed Smith, who's one of the few two-sport professional athletes out there. When you hear Ed Smith's name, you could put that name in the same conversation with guys like Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders, who Coach Prime, who's now at Colorado, and of course Michael Jordan played some pro baseball. But Coach Smith played 9 years of professional baseball. Then he transitioned into a pro football career, played in NFL Europe, and then went to a couple of NFL training camps and ended up on the roster of the Atlanta Falcons and went to the Super Bowl as a tight end. And you may be familiar with another player with the last name Smith, Irv Smith. That's Coach Smith's younger brother. And then Irv Smith Jr., who's a tight end with the Minnesota Vikings, is Coach Smith's nephew. So it's a family of tight ends and multi-sport athletes, and Coach is just the greatest guy and gave me my opportunity where I cut my teeth covering JUCO sports. So now I pass the baton on to you, Jodeci, and let's talk a little bit about what you guys are up to this semester. So obviously you guys have been working with the Varsity Sports Show. Jodeci, you're out at Mesa Community College. What are your plans?
So this fall I'll be going to Jackson State University. I'm hoping to cover sideline for football. They have a big football program, as you said, Coach Prime now at Colorado, but he was at Jackson.
Do they have any players left? He took them all with him.
He took them all, right? And that carry on and
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully I'll be doing that. I'll be majoring in sports media studies, and they'll be my last 2 years, so I'm excited.
Awesome. And then Jake, you're out at Cronkite at ASU, and what's on the horizon for you?
That's right. I got 2 more years at Cronkite. Still trying to figure out what those final 2 years are going to look like. But, the only thing I know for sure is that I'm going to have some wonderful opportunities just because of the opportunities that Cronkite has to offer. And I'm really excited to be a part of that program.
Awesome. Great. Okay. So what we're going to do is as I told you at the start of the show here, we are going to segue to some amazing segments put together by our amazing team. And Corey in the studio, one of the best producers in the business. Corey, take it away.
That's the sound of the beast. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the police. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of
Welcome to the Ref Spotlight with AIA basketball official Caleb Wiley breaking down plays and rulings. Good morning and welcome to another Ref Spotlight on the Varsity Sports Show. I am your host, Caleb Wiley. This segment I want to talk about something that's called over the back. I hear that term all the time when I'm reffing. Every time there's like a rebound and there's like a stack between two players, I'm almost like guarantee that there's gonna be a shutout like over the back from a parent or something like that. It's very common that you'll hear someone shout this out. So I just want to really go down to the basics and the details on what an over the back really is. So over the back is really just a loose ball foul. If you're shooting the ball, then obviously it's going to be an offensive foul. It's not team control or anything like that because it's not in the control of anyone. It's on the shot, so that would be a loose ball. So yeah, it's a loose ball foul. And most refs are not going to call an over the back unless the player that is being fouled is like boxing out. Now, if a player is boxing out and the rebound's consequence has already been deemed, then that would be a foul, because if they're pushing someone, it doesn't matter if they think they're boxing out. If they're doing what a box out is and someone has the ball, that's an illegal screen, or like that's not an illegal motion. Well, that's all the time I have for today. Thank you for listening to the Ref Spotlight on the Varsity Sports Show.
Pat Mooney's a cancer survivor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a cancer survivor. He helped my mom out a lot. Yeah. Welcome back, you guys, and we are here at the Varsity Sports Show. It's live radio, you know. We're out at Saguaro High School, and we're actually just talking about some great people out there. Pat Mooney, who's the head volleyball coach at South Mountain Community College. All these names pop up, and Coach Mooney, who's been out there forever, he's a great guy. His name came into the conversation. We'll be featuring him as well. We have with us on the line Coach Riley Wilson. Coach Wilson is the head coach out at Chandler for the Arizona Girls Lacrosse Association, playing in the championship game this coming Friday. Coach Wilson, how are you?
I'm doing well, Vince. How are you doing?
Great. Thank you for joining us here, and joined remotely out at Saguaro High School for kicking off the postseason here for baseball and softball. Coach, you guys, congratulations. You qualified. You're going to be playing in the state championship game here this coming Friday for Division I. Tell us a little bit about your team.
Well, we've got quite the group of girls this year. We've got a mixture of all different kinds of girls coming from different programs. You know, we're a club association, so we're pulling from different schools a little bit southern. We're pulling from some schools that are a little bit north. But just one giant group of girls that we're really trying to collectively push to keep themselves on the field for however many years. You know, we got a couple of seniors, but we also have a really strong freshman class that we're looking to keep within our program and continue to recruit, you know, all these different players from different club programs that aren't offering at their schools, you know.
Let's talk a little bit about how you fill your rosters, and now do you hold open tryouts? Is it you know, are you out there? Obviously, you're a club, as lacrosse is not an AIA sanctioned sport yet, but it is very competitive. It's been one of the fastest growing sports that I've seen in recent history. How do you fill your rosters?
We do have open tryouts. You know, it's one huge collective effort from all of us, just kind of putting it out there to the public, like, hey, this is a new sport in Arizona. This is a new sport for the West Coast. Like, come take a look. We've got one of our players on the JV roster this year who actually is a transfer student out of Italy. So she's been playing with us for a couple of months. She's been giving it a go. We've got a couple of players who transferred over from softball, a couple of soccer players. That's a big one, soccer players transferring over to lacrosse. But, yeah, they are open tryouts, and it's really just whoever catches word of it, you know, you come over and you give it a go.
Awesome. Coach Riley Wilson, good luck, and looking forward to covering you folks over the next week. With the Varsity Sports Show is privileged to have partnered up with the Arizona Girls Lacrosse Association. I've been banging on your guys' door for years because I see a sleeping giant there, and we are really excited to finally have this opportunity, and we'll look forward to chatting with you again soon.
Hey, yeah, we really appreciate the support coming from all over the state, so thank you so much for this opportunity to talk to you this morning.
Awesome. Okay, Jodeci, what do we have coming up next?
Next, we have a lot going on. We have the Saber Cat Report, and we also have Joe Mickey in person. Coach is coming with us. He's got that game today, so we're going to talk to him all about that.
He's got that game. He's got that game face on. You know, they're hosting the ALA Queen Creek Patriots. He's not taking anything lightly. We're going to chat with him in a minute because they've got Saguaro is the number 2 seeded team facing number 15, and some exciting stuff. But he is one to never take anything for granted, and we're looking forward to having him back here on the Varsity Sports Show. So, guys, make sure you stick around. AM 1060, Varsity Sports Show. We are out at Saguaro High School. Come out in person or just listen into the show, and you're going to hear some good things, some fun things, and you're going to see some great softball and baseball today here out at Saguaro. We'll be back after the break. Go Varsity.
Interact with Bob Kim's poll question on KDUS1060.com. That's KDUS1060.com. And while you're there, check out Bob Kent's bottom line at KDUS1060.com.
Hey everyone, I'm Caleb Wiley. I'm from the LA area, and I study sports journalism at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at ASU. From being the sports editor at my high school to being a broadcast reporter for Cronkite News, I like to say I bring a nice versatility to the show. Whether it's in front of the camera or behind the scenes, can't wait to bring you guys high school sports content on the Varsity Sports Show. See you guys there.
By renowned football coach Ron Sowers with the philosophy of training well-rounded young people in mind and body. TBA is the go-to for middle schoolers through the pros.
Coach Sowers has worked with all sports but specializes in football offensive and defensive line skills training. Whether it's one-on-one or group training, reach out to Coach Sowers at trainingbetterAthletes.com or call him at 602-435-9064. You can't cheat the grind.
Hi, my name is Jacob Seaver with the Varsity Sports Show, and I am currently a sophomore at Arizona State University's Walter Cronkite School for Journalism and Mass Communication. I am excited to be on the mic this year and looking forward to bringing you some of the best high school and JUCO content that the world has to offer. Definitely looking forward to seeing you and for you to hear me on the Varsity Sports Show.
Extra Point with local and national topics, betting lines, and banter. Weekdays 10 to noon on KDUS AM 1060, KDUS1060.com, and the KDUS 1060 app.
The Varsity Sports Show presents the SaberCat Report with Saguaro High School baseball coach Joe Mickey. And now, here's the SaberCat Report.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show. Today we have the SaberCat Report. The SaberCat Report is brought to you by Cheese Pa's Fast and Fresh, healthy-minded Mexicans for diners on the go. Expect all the classic, elevated with best ingredients and made from family recipes generations in the making. Located just east of Hayden on Thomas Road in Scottsdale. Find us on Instagram and Facebook or on the web at cheesepasfresh.com. That's Cheesepatch, CHISPAS, fresh.com. Open 8 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. Sunday through Thursday and 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Friday and Saturday. Cheese Pa's Fast and Fresh.
We need a whole segment just for that read. That we got to thank your mom, Jen Bumped, on that. So anyway, but now we're joined by SaberCat coach Joe Mickey. Coach Mickey, I'm going to turn it over to Jake and Jodeci to kind of start asking you some questions here and talking about the program. First of all, congratulations. Good luck today. Jodeci, take it away.
All right, Coach, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Appreciate you guys and gals being on site today, and it's an exciting vibe in the air, and just looking forward to an awesome opportunity for the program.
Yes, we're so excited. Coach, my first question is going to be, what hurdles have you overcome this season?
Oh, man, there's been a bunch, right? Sometimes it's academic stuff. Sometimes it's family dynamics. Sometimes it's relationship drama, right? I mean, you forget that these are young men growing through high school, and they're trying to learn life as it happens, and so baseball is just one component of life as it unfolds for these young men, and so when you recognize that, and for seniors, their crossroads are coming up for the independence of college and graduations and proms and all these things. You kind of recognize that you're always going to have hurdles this time of year, and keeping us focused and dialed in on the process and what we're here to do, and goals and visions and all those things. Just trying to keep it all in perspective.
And, Coach, you mentioned kind of how this baseball team and how this whole baseball season can be sort of like just one of those stops that you take in your life. I want to talk about the younger kids. What is this playing for this team for guys like Xander Bratzbus, Cam Caminiti, guys that still have a few years left? What does this stop mean for them? What does this postseason run mean for these guys that are going to be leading this team in the future?
I think it means a lot. You set expectations high. They get a taste of not just success, but understanding what it takes to get success between the lines, kind of understanding as a student athlete what you have to do, both juggling, schedules and workouts and preparation, and then also letting that ability kind of showcase on the field. And so it means a ton when you get to these moments, because this is what hopefully builds programs and foundations and starts to set the expectations even higher for your program. So it's a great opportunity, great experience, and one that I'm hopeful and know will flourish in, not just this year, but for hopefully a couple of years to come.
Perfect. So, Coach, you got a big game today. I see your players over there already batting up over there. How do you feel going into today's game?
It's exciting. This is probably one of the highest seeds I can recall. I've been here for 15 years, both as an assistant and head coach, and one of our highest seeds going into the playoff push. And even when we put up a couple state banners, this team has a chance to do something special. You never take that stuff for granted when you have success like that, because year to year is always very fluid. But with what we've done this year on the field and the record that we've showcased, it's exciting. I think if you used any other word, you'd probably be lying to yourself. There's goosebumps, but you also get those butterflies, and you still love what you're doing, and you have something special going on because guys want to go out and win. And with that said, you can't over-assume, right? Nobody's just going to roll over for a 2-seed or anything like that. Sometimes people even prepare more for those types of moments to upsets and try to play spoiler. So, we know those expectations are there on the other side, and so we'll just keep being us and hopefully showcase today the way we're capable.
And Coach, I gotta ask, at the end of this postseason, where do you see this team?
Oh, I tell you what, if every year we start, Jacob, I wish I would like to say if we had anything less than that golden trophy in our hand, we'd be disappointed. But that's always the goal. And, it's interesting. You referenced it at our banquet. Giannis said a great point, right? It was talking about failure. And I loved how he referenced that because this year we've had so much growth in so many different areas between this program and opportunities to get better. And so from a growth standpoint, obviously we have success with referenced as outside success being holding that trophy at the end of the season, but so proud of these guys in the program that play for. And so, I at the end of this season, I'm hoping we're number one.
Coach, I love you started out Giannis. That is my team, Milwaukee Bucks, all day. But
he's a phenomenal speaker, fun to listen to and watch.
Yes. So you mentioned you've been here for 15 years, some as an assistant coach and now as the head coach. Coach, what has kept you here?
I think just the community, the campus vibe. I love our administration. I can't speak highly about the people that I've had a privilege to work for and representing them. We talk about it being bigger than baseball. It's about the community, the things we do on campus and around our campus. It matters, and it's a huge impact that I love representing Saguaro High School in the Valley. I kind of grew up in the Valley. I grew up in the Valley. So just being where my roots are is also a lot of pride. And so to be able to kind of not necessarily graduate from Saguaro, but grow up just down the road and know that this is a place that I've seen grow and become what it is, it's that much more unique and a place that I love to call home.
Perfect. Awesome. Coach Joe Mickey for the Saguaro SaberCats. Again, I have had such a great time spending, like you said, around this community. And the Booster Club here, I want to hear about that. But take us a little bit behind the scenes.
Oh, I love that. I'm glad you referenced them. They are an extension of our program, and I'm glad I get to talk on our parents because I tell them all the time, they raise phenomenal young men, and I get to just continue to hopefully expand on what they've laid as a foundation. Our Booster Club does so much fundraising for this program. The backstop you see up here in front of us and big projects that you see around our ball field is all just an extension of what they do for these boys, and not just their son, but the whole program and also Saguaro. And so when you have a Booster Club like that that's very vested, it's a privilege and not one I take for granted.
Perfect. We are here with Coach Joe Mickey. Coach, thank you so much for being here with us. We greatly appreciate it.
Likewise. Love having you on site. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
I mean, just always such a pleasure to get to speak with Coach Mickey, and always a pleasure to come out here to Saguaro High School. We've done a lot of game broadcasts here this season, and I'm looking forward to spending a lot of time around this program. And that brings back, I want to talk about basketball season a little bit. Coach Lucas Ramirez, did you ever get a chance to interact with him?
I did. Coach Ramirez was actually my first game that I did for Varsity Sports. That was amazing.
Yeah, I had the chance to spend some time with Coach Ramirez earlier this year, but again, I'm a huge baseball guy. I love the sport of baseball. I love being around the environment. I love, just interacting with the fans, with the players, with the coaches. There's just something different about it that, honestly, I don't really get out of anything else. And so, yeah, great to get to speak to head coach Joe Mickey of the Saguaro SaberCats. Now I kind of want to talk about some of the players. We got just another minute or two here. Cam Caminetti, actually an LSU commit, and this kid is only a sophomore. So He's going to be playing for the SaberCat team for the next 2 years after this one. And again, like we said, they're really hoping to come away with that championship trophy this year. So, I'm just so excited to see what this Saguaro SaberCat team has to bring. They've got a huge matchup today. It's going to be myself along with Sebastian Mondaca on that call. First pitch, I believe, around 10 o'clock a.m. here in Arizona at Saguaro High School.
Folks, if y'all didn't hear that, Jake is on double duty today. So Jake will be here from morning here at the radio station with us, and he'll also be covering the baseball team. So tune into that with Varsity Sports Show.
Absolutely. Definitely don't want to miss that.
The bright lights shine on the players on the field and on the court, but it's time to shine a light on the sidelines. Welcome to the Coaches Spotlight, where we highlight and learn about a coach in Arizona. This is the Coaches Spotlight on the Varsity Sports Show. Welcome back to the Coaches Spotlight on the Varsity Sports Show. I'm your host, Sabrina, and I'm here with none other than, from Mesa Community College, head cross-country coach, Dan Pascador. How are you doing, Dan?
Good. Thank you. How about you?
I'm good. Like I introduced, you are the head cross-country coach at Mesa Community College and everything. You're already in your 6th year, actually, as coach over there, but 5th year head coach for the cross country for men's and women's. What kind of got you started into the role of being a coach in general?
Yeah, for me, I was fortunate enough to have good mentors, good coaches when I was running, and that's just kind of something that I knew I wanted to do. I mean, my coaches made a big impact in my life, and a lot of the choices that I've made was because of the influence of my coaches.
Kind of that big change that you noticed in that first year when you started coaching?
Yeah, I would say just the confidence standpoint, meaning like as an athlete, I was kind of unsure of some of the things that I could do, and now I'm in that opposite position, telling kids, hey, you really are capable of this.
But
Definitely.
Coach, thank you so much for being.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate your time as well, and I appreciate being here.
And thank you to you for listening to the Coaches Spotlight on the Varsity Sports Show.
Hello, sports fan, as you're listening to the NIA Sports Report coming from Varsity Sports. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Varsity Sports Show. I'm your host, Brandon Tran, and I got a special guest on the Zoom call today. I got the head coach for Ottawa, for the volleyball team, for the men's volleyball team, in Kyle Seal. How are you, Kyle?
Doing well, man. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for coming on for today's show. And what are you proud about this team this year?
I think I'm just proud of the resilience. I think when you play in the league that we play in, and as many top 5 games as we played this year, and just to keep coming back and fighting and play their best volleyball at the end of the season, I think we peaked at the right time and had a really good national tournament.
And the team finished like 14-9, 5-5 in the GSAC. And what was the biggest improvement you saw from the team, and you saw the team learning from that?
I think just learning how to finish matches late in games. I think we had to go through it a little bit this year. I think we lost something like 13 sets by 2 points this year. So we were very, very competitive even in all of our losses. And most people look at a 5-5 record in conference and don't think that's very good, but we were still number 4 in the country and finished 5th in the country. And there were 5 teams from the West out of 12 at national tournament, and 4 of them from our conference. So I'm just proud of the way that they fought all year long.
And what was the biggest challenge this team faced during the season?
I think just strength of schedule. I think we made some improvements this year, and our offense was a top 5 offense all year, and we had no trouble scoring the ball most of the year. But we just the strength of schedule we played, I think everybody got better. And Vanguard winning the national championship in our league, and Masters being ranked number 1 for a while, and Menlo was at the national tournament is very good. So just having us to have to go through it, is just one of the toughest things was just our strength of schedule, which also made us tough in the end.
And what do you think was the biggest win of this season? I'm pretty sure that it has to be the Riders Up in Benedictine Mesa to start.
Yeah. I mean, it's always good to beat your crosstown rival, and especially when they've been to 3 straight national finals finals now. And to get them in a reverse sweep at home was in front of an absolutely electric crowd was probably definitely one of the highlights of the year. And probably our most complete win that we had. And we played some other matches well, beating Masters at home and things. But yeah, the reverse sweeping Benedictine at home is always a good time for us. So,
and that's like in the beginning of the season too.
Yeah. So I think kind of everybody was excited about season. I think, I don't know, we had maybe 500 people in the stands. It was a packed house, so it was a lot of fun.
Perfect. All right, Kyle Steele. Thank you for coming on this show.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime, man. So appreciate you.
As this is the Varsity Sports Show, I'm Brandon Tran. I hope to see you all next time.
Every Monday night, check out Ray Adams as he hosts the Monday Night Golf and Lifestyle Show from 6 to 7 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060.
Hey, local businesses, join the Varsity Sports Show and promote your business on our weekly radio show and game live streams. We have several options to promote your business affordably and reach our incredible audience. Call, text, or email us anytime if you'd like more information on joining our team. The Varsity Sports Show will work hard to promote your business through our audio and video platforms while also promoting all of our young people. 480-779-9437 or email us at varsitysportshow.com.
Hello, sports fans. This is Dick Stockton, and you are listening to Arizona's home of youth, high school, college, and you, the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona.
It's game time, and we're here to win. Hi, I'm Sabrina Giles. I'm a senior at ASU and studying at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communications, with my major being sports journalism. I'm excited to announce that this spring I will be working with the Varsity Sports Show to bring you any and all things sports. From commentary to broadcast, I'll be working to cover your favorite teams and make my mark on the world of sports journalism.
Hello, my name is Hannah Pettiferry, and I am currently a student at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communications here at Arizona State University. I am beyond excited to be joining the Varsity Sports Show this spring. Growing up, I have always played sports, and now I cannot wait to be able to study, analyze, and commentate on the sports that are being played this season in Arizona.
Check out KDUS AM 1060 on 100.7 KSLX HD2. That's right, HD Radio on 100.7 channel number 2.
All right, sports fans, welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show. My name is Jacob Seaver here with my broadcast partner, Jodeci Ariana, as well as Vince DeLisio. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we have got a special treat for those of you out there listening, especially the baseball fans. Bringing on the show, we are going to have Mr. Bill Coots, actually the father of Thunderbird High School's starting catcher and senior, Caden Coots. Mr. Coots, how you doing today?
Hey, doing well. Good morning. And you know what? You have to be good when you listen to an intro like Hot for Teacher. You got to be awake, right?
Yes, you do. Absolutely. And again, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show. And I know you've been around the sport of baseball a very long time. You've spent a lot of time, doing a lot of different things with the sport. You've been a scout for the Arizona Diamondbacks, the Kansas City Royals, and the Colorado Rockies. You played for a few years professionally. You've coached as well. And that's kind of what I want to get started about. I want to ask about your experience coaching. Just tell me about, again, what is it like being around the sport of baseball and being an influential figure in the sport of baseball?
Yeah, luckily I've been a coach for a long time. And the biggest role that you serve as a coach is, you're teaching them not only the baseball skills, but the life skills. But, focusing on the baseball skills right now, I mean, you've got to understand, and everybody out there needs to understand, that the game has changed. The game is getting faster. It's not the same game it was a few years ago or even when I played. There's just a lot more technology and a lot more, advancement with that technology and resources and training and all these things that actually can cause a lot of confusion as well. So as a coach, the biggest thing is to cut through the noise and really, be able to develop the players to the best of your ability from the youth levels all the way, obviously, through high school into college and then the pro ball.
and really teach them, again, what is it going to take to succeed at all those levels, but those skills that they're learning on the field that they can hopefully take off the field and be good young men and women for the softball coaches out there.
Awesome, and I want to know, what do you feel about that? What's your opinion on how the game is changing? Because you're absolutely right. Technology is, playing an increased role in baseball, especially for these kids at a younger age, and the game is changing with these new MLB rule changes. How do you feel about that?
Everything's going to evolve, and you either have to adapt or you're going to be left behind, unfortunately. And the thing with what a lot of people need to understand is, because of the technological advances, scouting has changed quite a bit. From when I was an active scout, we used a radar gun, we used a stopwatch, and we used an eye test. But now you're talking about things like launch angle and what's the exit velocity off a tee, and how fast are they still plays into it. But there's a lot of these things that, unfortunately, I think a lot of kids get caught up in the metrics. The metrics are important, exit velocity, how hard do you throw, etc. But you also have to be able to play the game. But metrics are really a big thing. Every time you get on social media, you're going to see somebody that's taking 14 steps and throwing a ball into a net 95 miles an hour. If that doesn't translate into the game, you're going to be in trouble. So my suggestion is you have to pass the eye test for sure.
2 minutes.
Parents do need to be aware of these metrics and how strong is your son or daughter. Do they fit the profile for the type of position they're playing and looking to play at a higher level? But also don't get lost so much that you forget how to play the game.
Awesome. And then I think my broadcast partner Jodeci is going to have a question for you.
Sure.
Hi, Bill. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Jodeci here. So, Coach Bill, question for you. How have you enjoyed watching your son this season?
It's been amazing. I've been, fortunate enough to coach him since he was a young man. Just breaking into baseball, and to watch him, in his senior year of high school, and watch the friendships and the leadership skills that he brought to that team, and to handle, the good times, the bad times, and watch him really blossom as a young man, especially since he is going away to college. It's just been a special journey, and unfortunately that journey ended a few days ago, and watching him take that last walk to the bus with his friends was kind of gut-wrenching, to be honest with you, but I know that there's another chapter right ahead of him, and I'm sure a lot of the senior parents feel the same way. So it's just been a blessing. I'm very thankful that I've been in the dugout with him, but I'm also enjoying the time watching him do what I've taught him to do.
And then the last question, if you could just give one message to any of those ball players out there looking to propel their careers, what would that message be?
Train, get a really good training schedule and a good person in your corner to help you with your training. Any mechanical flaws, get them fixed, and really focus on your showcasing for the younger kids when you're ready and you're physically able, because going out and showcasing too early will get you the wrong kind of exposure. And really just be a student of the game and really work hard, and don't accept anything other than I'm going to give it my best effort and I'm going to chase the dream until they tear the jersey off me.
Awesome. That is Coach Bill Coots, father, coach, mentor, really everything that you could ask for. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome. Thanks for the opportunity.
Absolutely. And for those listeners of you out there, we've got some great pre-records coming up. We've got Around the Globe with MD. We've got our very own Dominic Hernandez with an interview with Tyler Matthews. We've got some great stuff coming up, and we really, really hope that you guys don't miss any of it.
It's more than just a game. Sit back and relax for a global overview of sports and sports cultures, games around the globe, and coverage of countries worldwide. Welcome to Around the Globe with Maya Denise Gaskin. Good morning, Arizona. This is your host, Maya Denise Gaskin, with another segment of Around the Globe. Let's talk about bad sportsmanship. According to ESPN, things are not looking too good for Minnesota Timberwolves guard Anthony Edwards. Edwards was cited for third-degree assault after he allegedly swung a chair that struck two female employees. This happened after the team's series-ending loss to the Denver Nuggets on Tuesday night in Game 5 at Ball Arena. The Denver Police Department said on Wednesday the incident occurred as Edwards headed towards the Wolves locker room after the loss and swung a folding chair, injuring the employees, according to the Denver Police. The injuries were not serious, but police spokesman Jay Castilla stated this to ESPN. We are aware of the alleged incident regarding Anthony Edwards following Game 5 in Denver, and we are in the process of gathering more information. The Wolves said in a statement released Wednesday night, "We have no further comments at this moment." Denver had beat Minnesota 112-109 on Tuesday night to win the first round NBA playoff series in 5 games. Edwards missed the tying three-point attempt at the buzzer. Now, let's talk hockey. The National Hockey League will hold 4 regular season games in Sweden next season, featuring the Toronto Maple Leafs, Detroit Red Wings, Ottawa Senators, and Minnesota Wild. The league said on Wednesday there will be a game each day from November 16th to 19th at Avicii Arena in Stockholm, with the clash between Detroit and Ottawa kicking off the 2023 NHL Global Series. For the Maple Leafs, who Forbes lists as the NHL's second most valuable team, their number 17 clash against Detroit will mark the first time they play a regular season game outside of North America. To date, there have been 38 NHL regular season games played outside of the North America, including 32 played in Europe. There have been 13 NHL regular season games played in Sweden, and I cannot wait to see how these turn out. Well, that's all the time I have for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Varsity Sports Show on KDUS 1060. Again, I'm your host, Maya Denise Gaskin with Around the Globe, and until next time, have a beautiful day.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dominic Hernandez, and today I'm very excited to do an interview with Tyler Matthews, who does track and field at Red Mountain High School. So, Tyler, to start off with, how did you initially get into doing track and field at Red Mountain?
It started when I joined the cross country team in junior high. I did that with a few friends, and then after that, I decided to transition into high school cross country, and then kind of the expectation was to do track as well. So I did it there, and that was my first time doing track, but I had already been running for a few years.
And so what have you seen as the difference between like running track and field in junior high compared to high school?
It's definitely a lot more competitive. In junior high, I was running against like maybe a handful of other kids most of the time, and then kind of our biggest meet was maybe 100 or so kids, and that was just cross country. And then in high school, when I did cross country and track, there was just lots more kids, and it was much more competitive.
So I know you do different distances for your events. So just what have you seen as the biggest challenge between doing the different distances?
For me, it's mostly just trying to change my mindset for each race, because all of them are very different and they require different strategies. But I kind of just have to face them as I would normally, and the different pacing strategies I have to worry about and change. But other than that, it's, just run my hardest for that given distance.
And then, I know you broke an Arizona high school track and field record recently. So just tell me what the experience was like doing that feat.
It was at the Arcadia Invitational, which is track meet in California, one of the biggest track meets in the country. And it was in the 800-meter race, and I was in the fastest section, I guess, of the races. So I was with like the best competition, some of the fastest kids in the country, and so I knew it was going to be a really fast race. And then I was pretty close to the state record. It was a matter of just getting a PR, and thankfully I did. And I didn't even win the race because it was so competitive, but I did get the record, and it was just an awesome experience.
And lastly, so what other events do you have coming up?
I'm actually going to race tomorrow in the mile, which is one of the other ones that I do. And then in some of our upcoming meets, I'm thinking about, I'll probably end up doing the 400, the 4x8 relay, and the 4x4 relay.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. I'd like to thank Tyler Matthews, who does track and field at Red Mountain High School, for taking the time to do this interview, and good luck on your upcoming meets.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks for listening and have a great day.
HD Radio is here for KDUS AM 1060. Check out your favorite shows and games on 100.7 KSLX HD2.
The Varsity Sports Show is proud to partner with SaberCat Athletics. That's right, the Scottsdale Saguaro SaberCats are on the Varsity Sports Show. Join the varsity team as we cover the Cats during the SaberCat Report on Saturday morning's Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona, featuring players, coaches, and commentary. Look out for live stream coverage of Saguaro SaberCat sporting events by going to YouTube and searching for Varsity Sports Show, then click that subscribe button to stay up to date. The Saguaro SaberCats are here. Hey, local businesses, join the Varsity Sports Show and promote your business on our weekly radio show and game live streams. We have several options to promote your business affordably and reach our incredible audience. Call, text, or email us anytime if you'd like more information on joining our team. The Varsity Sports Show will work hard to promote your business through our audio and video platforms while also promoting all of our young people. 480-779-9437 or email us at varsitysportshow.com. Chris Scott of RE/MAX is Central Oregon's best realtor for anyone thinking of a vacation home or relocation. He's our very own born and raised Phoenician who moved his family to Central Oregon nearly 15 years ago. Contact Chris if you're thinking of exploring beautiful Central Oregon. It truly is living at its best. 541-999-5614. Proud partner of the Varsity Sports Shows, it's Dylan. Coaches, the Varsity Sports Show wants to be part of your team in 2023. We have a proven track record of providing the most coverage of your teams with Thursday and Friday night football. We will spotlight your players with multi-camera game broadcasts, pre- and post-game interviews, and segments on our Saturday morning radio show. With over 100 games broadcast in 2022, we will be exceptional for your team. Call, text, or email 480-220-4629 or info@varsitysportshow.com.
Ready to bring KDUS AM 1060 into your home with Alexa?
Hi, I'm Alexa.
Download the KDUS AM 1060 skill and enable. Then say, Alexa, open KDUS AM 1060.
This is where I start my day.
Good morning, Arizona. Welcome to the segment presented by the Varsity Sports Show that features high school highlights from the Valley. Sebastian has some special news for you. Let's see what's in store today. Hello, and welcome back to the AZ High School Highlights segment. In today's day, we're bringing in some boys baseball and some girls tennis. Interesting stuff to dive into. Here we go. In the Division II state tournament opening round for girls tennis, number 1 Catalina Foothills defeated number 16 Prescott 5-0 at home. Once the team achieves 5 victories, the match is deemed finished according to playoff rules. Abigail Molik of Catalina Foothills and Ava Strasser of Prescott faced off on the first court, but the team match ended before the positions could be recorded. The individual matches results were as followed. Morgan Filer over Salmer Hutman 6-3, 6-0. Gracie Petro over Kiara Coleman 6-1, 6-4. Maria Aranguren over Maddie O'Neill 6-0, 6-2. Charlotte Henderson over Lacey Tolley 6-2, 6-0. And Ashiana Sana over Reese Corlett 6-1, 6-0. Big sweep across the board for Catalina Foothills, as now they would host number 8 ala-gilbert North in the quarterfinal round on Tuesday, May 2nd. And now for some boys baseball, as Mountain View defeated Red Mountain 4-2. The winner of Monday's regular season baseball game between number 11 Mountain View and number 16 Red Mountain would take home the 6A East Valley Region Championship trophy. The first inning 3-run by Mountain View gave the Toros a foothold. In Mountain View, they used the outburst to defeat the Mountain Lions 4-2. Red Mountain closed the gap to 3-2 by scoring both runs in the third. For the rally, the Mountain Lions used 3 hits, 1 error, and a single by Braden Bond for the lone RBI. However, that wasn't enough for Red Mountain, as Mountain View was able to pull away with an extra run to secure the region championship. That is it for me today. Great content as usual, and as always, have an amazing varsity day.
It's time for the...
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. Vince Delicio out at Saguaro High School, joined by our talented team, Jodeci Ariana and Jacob Seaver. We are joined on the line by Horizon Husky lacrosse coach Sydney Anderson. Coach Anderson, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Great. Welcome to the show, and congratulations on the season that you've had and for the Arizona Girls Lacrosse Association League in general. What can you tell us about the growth of the league and how, specifically with regard to your team, has improved throughout the season?
Yeah, of course. Well, first, thank you for having us on. It's always a great opportunity to talk all things Arizona Girls Lacrosse. In terms of growth of the league, Arizona Girls Lacrosse has come such a long way over the past couple of years. I started coaching the Horizon Huskies around 3 years ago, originally from the East Coast, moved out here and had the opportunity to just jump in and start coaching right away. And the growth that our team has had specifically over the past 3 years has been incredible. When we first started out coaching, we had a lot of girls that picked up a stick for the first time and were introduced to the sport as a freshman in high school. And that junior class now has made a tremendous impact on and off the field and has really grown, developed in their game, and had a lot of fun along the way as they tried a new sport for the first time as freshmen.
What's the parity been like in the league in general between the teams? Is it all fairly close? Is it very competitive? Does there tend to be, from a helicopter view, I mean, one team that tends to dominate over the course of the year? How's that been?
Yeah, I think this year in particular, it's been pretty evenly matched. We have two divisions, so Division I and Division II, and our team is in the second division, but we play out of division games as well and have had a couple wins out of division. So I think it just really goes to show that in both divisions, the teams are pretty fairly matched. Really great competition. I know there's been a lot of overtime games, specifically in the Division I sector. So it's always a lot of fun. And as the game continues to grow and we start to add more teams and girls start playing outside of high school season 2, I expect to see a lot more competition and continued growth.
Who are some of your top players, Coach, that are getting some looks from universities?
Yeah, so we actually have one junior on our team that's already committed to play Division I lacrosse. Jolie Nichols, she is number 5, one of our midfielders. So super excited for her. As the sport continues to grow, we have a couple 2025 defenders, Tessa Johnson and another 2024, Alexa Miller, who are looking to play in college. And then we have a great group of seniors who, although aren't necessarily playing at the Division I, II, or III level, are looking to play club. And so I think it's just a real testament to the growth that the sport has had, not only on our Horizon team having kids being looked at from college coaches, but across the league. We've had so many college commitments over the past couple of years, and I know we have a strong class of seniors this year going on to play at the collegiate level, and there's quite a few juniors already committed to play in college.
Does it help with having a school right in town here in Arizona State now playing Division I women's lacrosse in terms of raising the stature of the sport and having that presence? Or does it matter, if they still were at the club level as opposed to going D1? What has that impact been like, or have you felt any impact?
Yeah, I think it definitely helps. It's really awesome to be able to have a Division I team finally in the state of Arizona, and it really allows our girls to be able to have that high-level caliber of lacrosse in their backyard, to go to games, be able to look up to the collegiate players and watch what that level of lacrosse looks like. It's a lot faster. As a former college player myself, I can attest to the speed of the game is just so much different, and you don't necessarily get that exposure to it at a young level unless you're able to watch it. So being able to have that group of girls really close to us in our backyard and attending the games as a team sometimes is really fun, just to show them what that's like and what that could be if they choose to pursue collegiate lacrosse in the future.
Awesome. Coach Sydney Anderson, Horizon Huskies, Division II Arizona Girls Lacrosse Association, and competing for a state championship this week. And, of course, the Varsity Sports Show will be presenting the Division I and Division II finals on Friday night out at Higley High School coming up May 5th. So, Coach Anderson, thanks again for joining us here on the Varsity Sports Show.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Take it away, Corey.
It's time for the Sun Devil Report with Eric Castellon, bringing you all the latest sports news around Arizona State University. Good morning and welcome to the Sun Devil Report. I'm your host, Eric Castellon. We have a lot to check in on around ASU athletics, so let's jump right in. Arguably the hottest team that ASU has to offer right now is the baseball team, as they just wrapped up a week that started awful, but they were able to finish strong. That awful start for the 19th ranked Devils was a trip down to Tucson last Wednesday to take on rival Arizona, and by the time they hit the road back to Phoenix, they suffered a 20-0 loss. ASU still won the season series against that school down south 3-1, but this certainly was a bitter end to what seemed like a one-sided series. After that, they came home to take on 21st ranked Oregon State in a huge conference showdown. Despite a tough 13-11 loss on Friday night, the Devils won 11-7 on Saturday, thanks to a walk-off grand slam from Isaiah Jackson. They won again on Sunday afternoon in a chaotic 12-10 victory that won them the series against the Beavers. As a result, the Devils moved up 2 spots in the national polls to 17th and are now in sole possession of first in the Pac-12 at 13-4 and also 27-12 overall. Up next for the Devils is a 2-game home series against Cal State Fullerton and then a weekend trip to Eugene to take on Oregon. Staying on the diamond, the ASU softball team is getting closer to the end of their season as they look to turn it around after what's been a tough 2-week stretch. They've lost their last 8 games, but part of that has been back-to-back conference series against 19th ranked Oregon and 2nd ranked UCLA. In between those was a home loss to GCU, and now the Lady Devils will look to bounce back to end the year strong. Up next is a conference series this weekend against Stanford as they look to build their resume as they get closer to tournament time. ASU is currently 21-20 overall, 5-13 in conference play, with 2 weeks left in the regular season. That's going to do it for me this week. Make sure to join me next week on my final segment, but until then, I'm Eric Castellon, and thank you for listening to the Sun Devil Report on the Varsity Sports Radio Show.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona. We are out at Saguaro High School. Big games today as we kick off the postseason for both baseball and softball. And the irony of it is that Saguaro Baseball is hosting ALA Queen Creek. Saguaro Softball is hosting ALA Gilbert North. That's just how the seedings ended up. They staggered the start time, so baseball starts at 10 first pitch. We're carrying that game on the NFHS network, and then softball first pitch is at 11 a.m., and we're doing the show out here today, joined by Jodeci Ariana and Jacob Seaver. Guys, your thoughts on the show so far?
I mean, honestly, it's been great to talk with everyone that's been coming on. I'm really excited about lacrosse. I'm really excited that we're going to be able to cover that sport a lot more. Again, like you said, it is such a growing sport with so much potential out here in the Arizona area. And then, of course, our very own Joe Mickey here at Saguaro High School. We had the opportunity to speak with him. So I'm really pumped up going into this awesome day of baseball and softball.
When we come back from the break, we are introducing a brand new segment. We hope that, we know it's going to be a regular segment here, and the interest has been so high, so we are doing this, and it's the ASU Women's Lacrosse segment with Coach Taryn Van Thoff. She is a first-year head coach out here at Arizona State. It's a very competitive team. It's a young team. Last year they played in the Pac-12 championship game, and a lot of promise, a lot of potential. So we're really excited to get Coach Van Thoff's thoughts in advance of the Pac-12 tournament this coming week, and talk a little bit about her first season at the helm here in general to get her ideas on how things are going. Guys, stick around. Hour number 2 is coming up here on the Varsity Sports Show. Vince Delicio, Jodeci Ariana, and Jacob Seaver. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll be right back after the break. Go Varsity. Thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show, where our mission is to empower education and enable dreams, creating an unmatched platform to showcase talent both in front of and behind the microphone, in radio, television, podcast, and live streaming. The Varsity Sports Show, still your home for youth, high school, college, and you in Arizona and beyond.
Broadcasting from the Superbook Sports Studios, KDUS AM 1060 Tempe, Phoenix, and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale, Phoenix.
Hello there, my name is Brandon Tran, and I'm a Cronkite student at Arizona State University. and I'm so thrilled to be joining the Varsity Sports Show this semester. As a former athlete myself, I'll be providing content, both boys and girls, as you can follow me on Twitter at BrandonTran70, as I hope to see you all there this semester and provide great content around you.
Hey, local businesses, join the Varsity Sports Show and promote your business on our weekly radio show and game live streams. We have several options to promote your business affordably and reach our incredible audience. Call, text, or email us anytime if you'd like more information on joining our team. The Varsity Sports Show will work hard to promote your business through our audio and video platforms while also promoting all of our young people. 480-779-9437 or email us at varsitysportshow.com. In 2019, the JV Sports Show podcast began with the idea of spotlighting young people in our community. In time, that podcast evolved into radio, television, and live stream, and through that evolution, new ideas have enhanced delivery, giving a stage to students both in front of and behind the microphone in Arizona and beyond. Thank you for supporting the Varsity Sports Show, now the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 educational organization.
Hello, this is local voiceover model and former Daddy Yankee stunt double, Mario Malaby. Be sure to DM us your questions for Ask Lucas on Twitter. And you are listening to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
This program is made possible by friends of the Varsity Media Foundation,
a 501c3 nonprofit educational organization.
You are listening
to the Varsity Sports Show.
You are listening to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona.
On AM 1060 KDUS Arizona.
Still the home of youth, high school, college, and you in Arizona and beyond.
Welcome to the Varsity Sports Show. And now,
welcome to the Varsity Sports Show.
Welcome to the Varsity Sports Show.
It's time for Sun Devil Lacrosse Talk with ASU lacrosse coach Taryn Van Thoft on the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show here on AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona. Vince Delisio, joined by my amazing broadcast team, Jodeci Ariana and Jacob Seaver. And joining us on the line, first-year head coach here for the Sun Devil women's lacrosse team, Coach Taryn Van Thoft. We're guys. It only as I was telling you off mic, it only took me 3 years to get this done, but we finally got it done. We've got a regular segment here coming up on the end of the season that we hope to feature throughout the offseason as well with this amazing dynamic head coach in Coach Thoft. Coach Thoft, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you again for having me.
Coach, it's I've had a chance to cover the lacrosse team the last 3 years, and there've been it's been an amazing building process out here, and I know that stepping into a situation where you've got a young team, how would you assess this season overall?
Yeah, this season we talked a lot about growth, and continuing to see that growth game after game, and improvement, day after day, and I think that's exactly what we're getting from these young student athletes, is a ton of growth and development. So it's been fun to watch.
Yesterday was senior day, and there was sometimes, and you can't necessarily pick who you're gonna face your final home game of the season, but you were facing the Pac-12 champions in USC, and you guys were in the game. You were obviously in the game throughout, and it was a heck of a contest. Talk a little about the seniors themselves on your roster.
Yeah, it was a great fight, and I think it stems from our leadership and in those seniors. They've had 4 years of competition, and last home game gives a little bit more motivation on that field. But I think they get out and they make sure they're carrying the team in terms of the positivity they bring and, the excitement they bring along with them.
I'm going to turn it over to Jodeci and Jake here because they've got a couple of questions for you. Guys, go ahead.
Coach Taryn, Jodeci here from the Varsity Sports Show. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. So, like Vince said, you're coming off a loss from USC. How do you plan on pivoting to turn your focus on the Pac-12 tournament?
Of course. I mean, we talk about it being a new season. Postseason is a new season. It's a championship season. So our mindset has to be, a championship mindset. We'll take away, some of the good and some of the things we need to clean up from that last game against USC, and we move forward and face Cal on Wednesday.
Hey, Coach, how's it going? This is Jacob here, and the question I want to ask kind of focuses on when you as a team are preparing for some of those tougher matchups. What are some things that you guys do differently, or how is the energy different? Just what's different about those preparing for those tougher matchups?
Yeah, I know. I mean, I think there's an excitement anytime you face a top 20, opponent. There's an excitement, and that's already gets the adrenaline going before the X's and O's and before the game plan gets rolled out. But, making sure that game plan puts us in the most successful position possible to disrupt and to dictate, and then getting out there and making sure we're executing on game day.
Coach, perfect. Jodeci here again. So you talked about being a first-year head coach. You're from the East Coast. Talk to me about that move, coming here to ASU. What was your mindset in that time?
Yeah, I was ready. I'd done my stint on the East Coast and had an excellent time in my previous venture, but I was ready to, have a team of my own and to be able to help, develop young women and female athletes in that aspect. And so when I, came across the country, it was an exciting time. I think, you move across the country, and I got married a month later. It was a whirlwind of fun. Hello?
The Sports Show. This is the JUCO Sports Report. And now, here is Jodeci Ariana with the JUCO Sports Report. Welcome to the JUCO Sports Report. I am Jodeci Ariana. Today I'm here with South Mountain Community College beach volleyball head coach, Pat Mooney. Coach, how are you doing today?
Doing fantastic.
Why did you want to become the beach volleyball head coach?
We started the beach program about 4 or 5 years ago, and I had played beach volleyball a long time ago when I first got out to Arizona, but I hadn't been in it for a long time. The NJCAA, I think 3 years ago, said that anybody who wanted to have a beach volleyball program at our level, we can declare, and we did. And I retired officially from indoor women's head coaching in January 2019, and I wanted to come back and try my hand at beach volleyball. So here we are.
What is the recruiting process like for beach volleyball?
Since it's so new at our level, we haven't really established kind of like a timeline or significant process as far as this month we do this and this month we do this.
And when were you notified that South Mountain would be at the NJCAA Beach Volleyball Championship?
I personally was notified on a Saturday night, and I had to sit on that information until the next Monday morning. I couldn't tell anybody. The only people that knew for our school was me and our athletic director, Todd Easton. Man, that was a trial because I wanted to tell everybody, we're going to national. I had to play along. Excuse me, I had to play along just like I didn't know. And then they did the, reveal video through the national office, and we sat in the classroom and all the girls, and they announced us as the 7th seed. Everybody went crazy, but I'm like, I already knew that.
Fast forward to that whole weekend.
Yeah.
What was
to start the first day, which was last Thursday, walking into our first pool match on that Thursday afternoon, I really didn't know what to expect. With the first seed we had in our pool was seeded 2nd, we were seeded 7th, and then the 3rd seed in our pool was seeded 10th. But the Friday we came in and we played the challenge match, they called it. It was the first challenge match. We won that, which at that point meant there was no way we could drop below the top 4. Let's go for it all. Yeah, it was quite fun. But the all 3 days there, it was the girls meant business. I could see in their eyes. You could feel the sense of competitiveness and the sense of confidence from them. So, and that's what we've been asking all year long.
This has been the JUCO Sports Report with Jodeci Ariana with head coach of South Mountain Community College beach volleyball, Pat Mooney. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Corey.
We're back.
Hi, welcome back to the radio show, Varsity Radio Show. Thank you guys so much for sticking with us. You know, you add in live radio and some Arizona heat, and, you know, we transition, things happen, but we're pivoting back to the show. Thank you all for tuning with us. I think we still have Coach Taryn, so we're going to bring her back and finish our conversation with her. Coach Taryn?
It looks like we might still not be connected to Coach Taryn, but either way, we
I'm
thank
here.
her so
I'm
much.
here.
Oh,
Can
she
you
is
guys
here.
hear me?
Awesome.
Perfect.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, Coach, do you still have time to answer the question about, you know, what's maybe different about the sport of lacrosse, you know, coming over here to the West as opposed to where you were in the East?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is the growth of the game. Obviously, it's a non-traditional location out here on the West Coast, so, you know, really getting the youth development going and, you know, officiating and everything in between from coaches to, you know, youth players to officials. The growth is super, super important to not just the West Coast, but our sport in general.
Coach, thank you so much for that answer. Also, congratulations on getting married. That is a big achievement for you. That's busy time. Thank you so much for staying. Thank you so much for calling us today. We're excited to hear from you from the off season. Thank you all for tuning in to the Varsity Sports Show. Up next, we have our own Jacob Seaver with Lucas Hines.
Coach, we'll talk to you next week.
Sounds great. Talk to you then.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my segment on the Varsity Sports Show. We are here with Phoenix College outfielder Lucas Hinsey to talk about his transition from high school to JUCO. Lucas, how you doing? The first question I want to kind of get into today is I want you to take me through that moment of when you realized that you were going to be able to elevate your baseball to that next level, that you were going to be able to play in college. I just want you to take me through that moment.
For sure. Thanks for having me, first of all. I mean, pretty much going into high school, I mean, I was going into Perry, it was pretty big 6A, and I knew I wanted to play ball. So, I mean, at first I was really just like, all right, let's just see how good I can get, because I've been playing ball my whole life. And then probably around the end of my freshman year, I ended up getting pulled up to JV, and I was playing pretty well. And we had some college advisors come out and talk to, like, the team, and kind of from that point on, I decided, I was like, yeah, like, I think I want to take baseball as far as I can take it and play as long as I can. So then I decided kind of freshman, sophomore year, I was going to play as well as I could and as much as I could so I could take it to the next level.
And was that an exciting feeling when you kind of realized that you were going to be able to play baseball in college, that you were going to be able to fulfill that dream? Just were you excited?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was kind of out of nowhere going into my senior year. I hadn't had much like contact with coaches, and then all of a sudden I played in a few tournaments and played pretty well, and I just started getting the phone call and like my dreams are coming true. Like I can take it to where I want to take it. So yeah, it was definitely a really cool moment when I finally realized that.
Fantastic. Well, Lucas Hinsey, thank you once again for taking a quick minute to speak with me. And for those of you out there listening, you can check out all of our Varsity Sports Show content on Twitter at Varsity Show, or find us on YouTube. Find the Varsity Sports Show. Anyway, once again, I'm Jacob Seaver. Thank you so much for tuning in, and have a great rest of your weekend.
Back to the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. Vince Delicio out at Saguaro High School with Jodeci Ariana and Jacob Seaver. Guys, nice job recovering from that little Wi-Fi issue. It happens, especially as the heat starts rearing its ugly head on our equipment. Things like that happen, but we appreciate you guys sticking with us, and that's all part of it. You kind of roll with it. So we had some amazing segments, some incredible guests. Very privileged to have been joined by ASU women's lacrosse brand new head coach, Coach Taryn Van Thoft. Gave us her thoughts on the season. They were a young squad this year, a scrappy group, as they head into the Pac-12 tournament up in Berkeley midweek coming up. And we'll hear from her again next week, get her take on how the tournament went, hopefully coming away with a win. So looking forward to hearing back from her. We're also going to be transitioning in that we've got our regular segment with Olivia Herzberg and Arizona Rattlers wide receiver Isaiah Houston, the Hustle with Houston segment. Isaiah is arguably the best wide receiver in the state of Arizona right now, hands down. at the pro level. And I say that very confidently because this young man has been amazing for the Arizona Rattlers, and we're going to hear from him on his regular segment with Olivia Herzberg when we come back from the break here on the Varsity Sports Show. Go Varsity.
Need social information about KDUS AM 1060? Try KDUS1060.com, at KDUS AM 1060 on Twitter, and Facebook.com/KDUS AM 1060.
Hi, this is Mesa Community College Assistant Athletic Director Mike Lavella and Modern Day Invincible. You're listening to AM 1060, the Varsity Sports Show, the home of all your junior college sports coverage.
Hello, my name is Dominic Hernandez and I am currently working at the Varsity Sports Show. I am a senior at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communications at Arizona State University. I will be working various jobs from working the camera to doing play-by-play of games. I can't wait to see what unique stories there will be in this upcoming high school sports season and be able to cover all the different sports that every high school has to offer.
Chris Scott of RE/MAX is Central Oregon's best realtor for anyone thinking of a vacation home or relocation. He's our very own born and raised Phoenician who moved his family to Central Oregon nearly 15 years ago. Contact Chris if you're thinking of exploring beautiful Central Oregon. It truly is living at its best. 541-999-5614. Proud partner of the Varsity Sports Shows, it's Dylan. Coaches, the Varsity Sports Show wants to be part of your team in 2023. We have a proven track record of providing the most coverage of your teams with Thursday and Friday night football. We will spotlight your players with multi-camera game broadcasts, pre- and post-game interviews, and segments on our Saturday morning radio show. With over 100 games broadcast in 2022, we will be exceptional for your team. Call, text, or email 480-220-4629 or info@varsitysportshow.com.
Your caddy, Ray Adams, takes you beyond the 18th hole on Saturday mornings with Great American Golf from 6 to 7 a.m. on KDUS AM 1060.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Hustle with Houston. I'm your host, Olivia Herzberg. In today's segment, we'll be discussing Isaiah's season-opening injury return and what he thinks about sharing the same arena as the Phoenix Suns in the playoffs. I'm not mistaken, you've been battling an injury since the beginning of the season. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, so unfortunately, the third play of the first game, I dislocated my left elbow. And so that put me out for about 3-4 weeks. Missed 2 games. Luckily, we had a bye week, so was able to use that to heal up, and then I've been back the last 2 games, and I played pretty well.
2 games back, so you played against the Duke City Gladiators, is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, April 15th against Duke City, and then this past Saturday out in Frisco, Texas against the Frisco Fighters.
So for that first game back, you guys won 48-37. So talk me through what that game was like, and especially coming back for this 2023 season.
Yeah, so obviously it felt really good to be back out there, especially at home in front of the home crowd. It's always a nice atmosphere in the Snake Pit, and it was a back and forth game. I think I scored a touchdown in the fourth quarter to put us up by 1 point, 36-35, and then we were able to get a stop on defense and put another touchdown on the board and close that one out. So it definitely, felt good to get back in the end zone and just back out there playing and get the W.
For when you were injured, what was that like? Were you still traveling with the team, or were you not with the team?
So we had 1 home game, 1 away game. I didn't travel to the away game, and then we had a bye week. So I was here in town just doing my rehab, seeing the doctor, and doing what I could to just speed up the recovery process and hopefully get back out there. And we were able to, like I said, about 3 or 4 weeks rehab and got cleared. So I was happy to get back out there for Duke City.
And then, so for Frisco Fighters, was a loss by 10, 42-52. Can you talk me through that game?
Yeah, so not only myself being injured, but our starting quarterback and another one of our starting receivers have been out the last couple of weeks. And so Frisco's a good team. They're ranked number 1 right now in the league. And it was a back and forth game, and we had our opportunities to win that game. We were down by 1 score, touchdown, in the fourth quarter with 5 minutes left. And just unfortunately wasn't able to get it done. A few key plays here and there, but I had a good game overall. Had 4 touchdowns, so it was a good game for me individually. However, would have liked to get the W. But I think we'll see them again down the road in the playoffs.
On with the NBA playoffs, how is it to play, like you said, at the Footprint Center with where the Suns play and have them in the playoffs? How is that?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a good time to be a Arizona sports fan right now. The Suns, they very popular and bring a lot of attention to downtown, and so it's always a great atmosphere down there, especially when we're down there and we got the Diamondbacks playing as well. I always joke around when I'm parking at the arena, I park in Kevin Durant or Chris Paul's spot, and I always say why they got their names on my spot.
That's it for this edition of Hustle with Houston. We'll catch you next time.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show here on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona out at Saguaro High School, where we're talking baseball, softball, and a little bit of lacrosse. So joining us on the line is Whitney Levitt, head coach out at with the Higley Knights, Division I lacrosse, Arizona Girls Lacrosse Association. We are going to be broadcasting the state championships out at Higley High School this coming Friday night. And Coach Levitt, how are you?
Ew.
Coach, did I pronounce your last name right? Is it Levitt or Levitt?
Right. That's the first. Not many people get it right the first time.
Oh, wonderful. There you go. Okay, so Coach, tell us a little bit about your team. And we've had some of the other head coaches on so far this morning, and we've got one more to go after you. But want to hear a little bit about the Higley Knights.
We're probably one of the newest programs in the Valley, which is pretty crazy because we've made it to the state playoffs the last 3 years in a row. We actually started our program in 2019 with a pure, brand new 38 players out there for the first time playing with the stick, and have grown immensely over the last 4 years with girls coming in who've played for quite some time. In fact, most of the girls on our varsity roster right now, I've actually coached since they were probably about 7 or 8 years old. Some starting at 6 years old through the youth program, and they kind of worked up through the different various clubs and have found their home here at Higley High School. And we have a great, young, talented group of players, and we're finally seeing that effort and talent showcase, especially this season, because most of our varsity roster is juniors. So we got another year of some exciting playing to do.
Coach, how do you feel about having home field advantage this week? It's you got obviously no slouches coming in to play yet, but that's got to be a good feeling.
For sure. I mean, we love our home field, and there's nothing like playing at your own location and having the comforts of all the things that you know. So, and not to mention it's a close drive. With Arizona lacrosse, there's a lot of driving involved when you go to school because not every school has lacrosse. So that's a definite perk for us. I'll take it.
All right, Coach Whitney Levitt, Higley Knights, Arizona Girls Lacrosse Association State Championships coming up at the end of this week, and our crew is excited to be covering the lacrosse championships Friday night. We're going to be broadcasting both the Division I and Division II state finals. So, Coach Levitt, thanks so much for joining us here on the Varsity Sports Show, and good luck this week.
Welcome. It's time for your Wildcat Insider with Mary Grace Armistead. Your inside report on Wildcat athletics on the Varsity Sports Show. Let's get started.
Hi everyone, it's Mary Grace on the Varsity Sports Show with your Wildcat Insider. Let's get started. First, we have Arizona offering Montana Luminous Craig, the MVP of Colorado's spring game, who finished with 154 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. Then some men's basketball, Ryan Nimhart, an Arizona transfer prospect, has committed to Gonzaga. The visit this week from Cal State Fullerton guard Ontario Wrightsell Jr. was canceled. He averaged 16 per game and has offers from Bama, Nebraska, and others. For only the second time in program history and now back-to-back, Arizona men's tennis wins regular season Pac-12 title. Arizona baseball routs ASU 20-0, reaches 20 runs against Sun Devils for the first time since the 22-11 win at home in 1986. Tennis loses to ASU 0-4, but start the Pac-12 tournament this week against Utah, along with men's tennis against Washington. The University Athletic Award, also known as CATSIs, were this week, so let's take a look at our winners. Highest team GPA went to Arizona Gym Cats and Arizona Men's Track and Field. The freshmen of the year were Olivia DiNardo, Arizona Softball, and Macmillan, Arizona Football. The sophomores of the year were Carolina Meltegradi, Arizona Women's Golf, and Jaden DeLaura, Arizona Football. The juniors of the year were Allie Skaggs, Arizona Softball, and Tubelis, of course, Arizona Men's Basketball. The Ruby Award went to Delaney Schnell of Arizona Swim and Dive. And last, the Sapphire Award went to Jordan Geist of Arizona Track. Beach volleyball ranks at 20 heading in the Pac-12 championships, and last but not least, Arizona softball loses to Oregon in a series but plays against Oregon State and Cal before their Pac-12 tournament. But that's all for your Wildcat Insider on the Varsity Sports Show. Tune in.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show. Vince DeLisio and Jodeci Ariana. We're going to say goodbye to Jake Seaver. Jake's going to be broadcasting the baseball game. He'll be doing color with Sebastian Mondaca, who'll be calling play-by-play today starting at 10 o'clock. So as soon as we're off the air here, head over to our channel on the NFHS network, The Varsity Show, and you can catch some great baseball action. It'll be Saguaro hosting ALA Queen Creek. We are joined on the line by Diana Adujo. She is the head coach for the Xavier, the number 1 ranked Xavier Gators women's lacrosse team. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us, Coach. Question for you. I've been hearing so much about this senior class that you have out there at Xavier. Are they as good as everybody's saying?
I mean, I hope so. They've been together. This is my 4th year at Xavier now, so they've been there, and I've been there since they were freshmen. So they've grown up together, have played together, a lot of them, since they were even before they got to Xavier. So they have a lot of chemistry and a really strong senior class. I'm really excited for that.
You've had quite a journey here in the postseason. Well, throughout the regular season, but into the postseason. Talk a little bit about your how the journey resuming this coming week and what you have coming up and your road to the championship.
Yeah, we had a really strong season this year. A few out-of-division losses, but overall in division, we went undefeated in the regular season in our division, which is really hard because we have a lot of talented teams across the board here in Arizona. So I think our goal just going into playoffs is to keep doing what we've been doing and just stick to the basics. We work really well together, so keeping that chemistry up and just utilizing all of our pieces on the field.
I've asked this question of our other coaches this morning from around the league. What's it been like filling the roster with girls out at Xavier?
Yeah, it's been interesting. We have our upperclassmen who have played for a long time. A lot of them played since they were younger. But we also have a mix of newcomers. So we're pretty split, especially on the JV team. Prior to 2 seasons ago, our JV team had never played before. So we have a lot of newcomers, people from basketball, swimming, different sports that have kind of transitioned over into lacrosse. So just kind of getting them up to speed on how the game goes, the ins and outs and the rules, and getting them up to par with our more experienced players, just getting them to work together well has been interesting to see, but they've been up to the task.
Awesome. Coach Diana Adujo out at Xavier Prep. Coach, thanks so much, and good luck this week. Arizona Girls Lacrosse Association State Championships coming up. We're looking forward to getting out to Higley and looking forward to covering you guys the rest of the way.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. So I'm here joined by my fellow broadcaster, Jodeci Ariana. Hey, Jodeci, we have a guest coming up. Tell us a little bit about the guest after the break.
Yeah, up after the break, we have Coach Robert Shabansky. He is the Gateway Community College baseball coach. And, they are I believe, three seeded in the Arizona League. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to talk with him, excited to talk about his journey, up until now, beginning season, end of season, going into playoffs, what that's going to be like, and hopefully, speaking to a future champion of the baseball league.
Yeah, of the ACCAC. Okay, so coming up after the break, stick around, guys, here on the Varsity Sports Show. We'll be back.
Easy Sports Talk with former NFL and MLB player Ed Smith and co-host Javon Adams airs Saturday mornings 10 to noon on KDUS AM 1060.
Hi, my name is Maya Denise Gaskin, and I'm a 19-year-old student pursuing a degree in broadcast journalism at the University of Arizona. With a passion for sports and a strong background in dance and performance, I'm excited to pursue my dream of becoming a sports broadcaster. In addition to my professional experience, I have a track record of academic success and leadership throughout my community. I currently serve as your Miss Arizona Teen USA, and I'm eager to use my skills and talents to make a positive impact in the world of sports.
This is Coach Lucas Ramirez, and you are listening to the home of the Saguaro Sabercats, the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS.
Sports, sports, sports. Hello everyone, my name is Sebastian Mondaka, and it's a pleasure of mine to be a part of the Varsity Sports Show this spring. I'm a current undergraduate student studying at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication. I'm still unsure of what exactly I want to pursue in sports journalism. However, I hope to learn and advance my knowledge under the Varsity Sports Show and create great memories with you. Let's make this a great year and let's strive for greatness.
The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe. With an experience so good it remains indescribable, with something for every seafood lover. Try one of their amazing custom seafood boils, sandwiches, appetizers, and salads. Angry Crab Shack Tempe is located east of I-10 on Warner Road, 480-674-3847. The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe. Come ready to eat.
Tune in weekdays to the Sports Zone with Bob Kemp from 9 to 10 a.m. on KDUS AM 1060, KDUS1060.com, and with the KDUS 1060 app.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. Vince Delicio and Jodeci Ariana out at Saguaro High School. Got a lot of activity going on out here. I think somebody's even running a barbecue. You think they're going to feed us, Jodeci?
Hopefully. At least the discount.
Yeah, well, when I ask, nobody ever does anything. But maybe if you ask, you might get it. Guys, we have some exciting news. Let's kick this off because we love to promote Arizona kids. And one such kid who's not a kid anymore. This guy is a grown man. His name is Kaylee Ringo. He was just drafted in the 4th round by the Philadelphia Eagles, played collegiately out at Georgia, and he's going to be an Eagle. So congratulations to Kaylee Ringo. We're going to see if we can get him on the show sometime in the near future to wish him special congratulations. But we love to pump up our own. And Kaylee, of course, a Saguaro Sabercat grad from a few years back and has been tearing it up out at Georgia. So congratulations to him. Jodeci, please introduce our guest.
So we have Coach Robert Shabansky from Gateway Community College. Coach Rob, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Jodeci. How are you?
I'm doing good. Nice to speak to you again. So talk to me a little about your season.
You know, it's been a great season so far. We just wrapped up our regular season last night. We secured the #1 seed for the ACCAC Division II playoffs, and it's been great for us. Our guys have played really hard, and they put us in position to what our goals are going into the start of the season, of just not only getting to the postseason but hosting the first round.
Perfect. So how are you preparing your players for this playoff season?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think more than anything, physically they're ready. Physically they're fine. Some of them we need to actually tell them to back off a little bit, kind of let their bodies recover. More so it's mentally, right? We're just trying to get them prepared on the ebbs and flows of the game. And the game is not bigger than any other game we've played all year. Just because it's labeled a playoff game doesn't make it any different than game one of the season. And just trying to get their minds to calm down and embrace the moment and stay present.
Perfect. And speaking on that, that mental part of the game that you talked about. You spoke about the players, but let's talk about you. It's a long season. It's a strenuous season, and you do a lot for Gateway Community College. How do you keep yourself present in that moment?
That's a great question. I think there was times that I wasn't, but I think the biggest thing for me is the ability to just kind of step away and take a deep breath sometimes and be cognizant of my thoughts, right? Like, where are my thoughts at? What am I doing? Am I present? And having that ability, and not only having to teach myself every day, right? There's times where I'm not, and I have to use that as a learning lesson for myself that I can pass on to the players and use my experience, my playing experience too, for them as well, so they can have and understand like where I'm coming from, and we all get on the same page. But definitely just understanding, what's the moment and what are we doing in this moment? Are we thinking about the future? Are we thinking about the past? Are we actually in this pitch right now?
Perfect. Thank you for that answer, Coach. Now, going back to the season, you've had a steady season. What hurdles have you and your team overcome?
That's a really good question. I think at the beginning of the season, we started off really well, and guys were really excited, and things came pretty easy for us. And we hit kind of in my mind, a pretty big speed bump right towards the middle of the season, and we were struggling. I think our guys were bickering with each other, and frustration started to set in, and I think that's where kind of the leadership of the players really helped steer the team in the right direction and learn to become present. And we had some big games that allowed us to start to buy into us. We were at Eastern Arizona, and we were down 6 runs. We scored 10 runs in an inning to take a lead, and hold on to that game. And recently we've had, 2 really crazy games. One with Central Arizona, who's an amazing program, who's won 2 out of the last 3 national championships. We're down 9-0 to them the other night, and we come back and win 10-9 in 16 innings. Last night's first game, 7-inning game against Saguaro Community College, we're down 10-0 after the first 1.5 innings, and we came back to win 20-19.
Perfect, Coach.
So, yeah.
I love that you talked about Scottsdale Community College, because I wanted to ask you about that game. That was a high-scoring game. Like you said, 2019. How do you keep your players there, present, and keep them in the game to finish out?
I really challenged them, right? And they responded. I challenged them. I told each and every player on the team as I walked through the dugout, as I was on the field with them, I was like, I don't care the outcome of this game, but we're just going to win every inning from here on out. We're not going to let them win an inning from us anymore. I don't care if we win or lose, but we are not going to let them win an inning. And they stepped up to the challenge. They did an amazing job, and I think they really bought into that concept of we're not going to let them win an inning. And obviously it paid off. It doesn't work every time, but I think just that ability to mentally grind through that and fight and see what happens, it was actually an amazing moment for the players and the program.
Perfect, Coach. Thank you for that answer. Coach, so what can you tell me about the future of Gateway Community College baseball?
I think we're getting back on track, to be honest. We went through a long stretch where, we were one of the top 2 programs every year. We're in the postseason every year. We were fighting to go to the World Series every year. We had a little bit of a hiccup for about a 3-year stretch, and I think starting back to last year, going on to this year, we're kind of carrying that momentum forward and getting back to where we need to be. And I think it's going to carry on for the future too, and understanding like who our program is, what we do, how we embrace our challenges, how we embrace the mental side of the game, how we embrace our players, and how we embrace the culture at Gateway Community College to push us forward and to prepare these guys for the next level too. So I think the word is finally starting to get out a little bit about us. We've been kind of a little bit of a secret for a while, but now we've got players from kind of all over the country, and we're definitely moving in the right direction.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Coach. Today we had Coach Robert Shabansky from Gateway Community College Baseball. Thank you so much for joining with us.
Thank you, too. I really appreciate your all the time.
Thank you. Up next, we have the Tempe Sports Report with Hannah Fetterty.
Hello, everyone, and happy Saturday. My name is Hannah Pettiferry, and you are listening to the Varsity Sports Show segment of the Tempe Sports Report. The Tempe Sports Report is sponsored by Angry Crab Shack of Tempe, located near the I-10 and Warner Road. This week, I had the opportunity to talk to Raiden Van Sprite, who's a sophomore at Corona del Sol. Raiden currently does track and field and plays football for the Aztecs. He also has 5 offers for football already. And here's that interview right now. Being just a sophomore, you already have 5 offers from different schools. What do you think will be the most challenging when deciding not just where you want to go to school, but where you want to play football as well?
So there's definitely a lot of factors that go into it, like being by family, are the academics good? Are they going to be a playoff team, like a good team in the future? And am I going to play there, obviously? But yeah, I think the hardest part will probably be like if I have a connection with the coaches, like my relationship with the coaches, because I definitely want to have like a good bond with like the coach I'm going to be working with for the next 4 years.
Do you think doing track and running in those events benefits you for football, whether that's the training, agility, and whatnot?
Yeah, definitely. Well, a lot of coaches tell me they like players that do 2 sports, so that's a factor. And then it helps stay in shape during the off season and increase your speed. So yeah, I think it definitely.
When track's done and it's summer break, do you do stuff with football?
Yeah, spring ball starts and then it's like practice every day basically.
Got it. For the upcoming football season, what are some goals you want to set for not only yourself, but for your team as well?
So for my team, I definitely want to win our first playoff game. Yeah, that'd be great. And then for myself, I want to try to make All-State, first team All-State.
Being number 5 in the state, what makes you continue to push to get to that top spot or to maintain? Like, if that makes sense.
Definitely the thought of there's always someone better out there.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes you want to work to try to be the best on the field. Right.
So that actually is all I have. Thank you very much.
Sure. Yeah, no problem.
Once again, that was Raiden Van Sprite, who plays football and does track and field at Corona del Sol High School. Well, folks, that's all I have for the Tempe Sports Report for this week. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next week on the Varsity Sports Show. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and this is Hannah signing off.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show. Vince and Jodeci out at Saguaro High School. A lot of things going on out here, in addition to a wonderful barbecue happening. I've said that a couple of times, and nobody's bringing anything over yet, so we're going to have to beg a little bit, I think. But anyway, Jodeci, nice job in that interview with Coach Shabansky. I know he wears a lot of hats, baseball coach, athletic director. How did he find the time to even sit down with you?
Yeah, it was back and forth. Actually, Vince, it was like he was eager, like he was so excited that we even reached out to him, as he said, Gateway's coming up now. So he was just excited to talk about his program, talk about even how he mentioned Scottsdale and Eastern Arizona and Central Arizona, just all of the programs that are in that JUCO community. So he was ready. He was like, I'll be up.
The Gateway Gecko. So definitely a lot of good information, a lot of good baseball being played around the state of Arizona. I mean, the weather is conducive to it as long as you do it before the sun is really beaten down. But they're going to be starting off. They're going through pregame out here at Saguaro. Saguaro is hosting ALA Queen Creek at 10 a.m. And then the softball team, Saguaro Softball, is hosting ALA Gilbert North at 11. First round of the postseason. When we come back from the break, we have a special guest joining us. It'll be brand new Saguaro High School SaberCat head football coach Zach Hill will be joining us here on the Varsity Sports Show. Give us kind of a recap of his first week at the helm of spring ball, talk a little Kaylee Ringo NFL draft, and just all things Zach Hill. Looking forward to Coach Hill joining us after the break here on the Varsity Sports Show. We'll be right back.
Have you downloaded the KDUS AM 1060 skill for Alexa yet?
Food. Alexa is frustrated. No matter how many times do you ask, the answer is mail, chicken.
Once you're ready, say Alexa, open KDUS AM 1060 to listen to your favorite shows.
Coaches, the Varsity Sports Show wants to be part of your team in 2023. We have a proven track record of providing the most coverage of your teams with Thursday and Friday night football. We will spotlight your players with multi-camera game broadcasts, pre- and post-game interviews, and segments on our Saturday morning radio show. With over 100 games broadcast in 2022, we will be exceptional for your team. Call, text, or email 480-220-4629 or info@varsitysportshow.com. In 2019, the JV Sports Show podcast began with the idea of spotlighting young people in our community. In time, that podcast evolved into radio, television, and live stream, and through that evolution, new ideas have enhanced delivery, giving a stage to students both in front of and behind the microphone in Arizona and beyond. Thank you for supporting the Varsity Sports Show, now the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 educational organization.
Hey everyone, my name is Eric Castellan, and thank you for tuning in to the Varsity Sports Show. I am currently a senior at Arizona State University, attending the Walter Cronkite School of Mass Communications and Journalism. I'm originally from California, but I moved to Arizona because of all the sports that are available out here, and I can't wait to bring you all the high school sports that we cover, whether you're listening or watching. Stay tuned.
We'll do what's best for the team, and we'll do what's best for you.
The Rich Eisen Show, coming to you weekdays from 3 to 5 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and KDUS1060.com.
Jodeci here with Vince. We are here at Saguaro High School against, we're watching Saguaro baseball against ALA Queen Creek. We are excited to hear from them and tune in to our Varsity Sports Show after this segment and watch playoff baseball.
Yes, for sure. Hey, so we are joined on the line by brand new head football coach. He's no stranger to coaching or being a head coach, but brand new head coach here out at Saguaro High School. Just finishing up his first week of spring ball. His name is Zach Hill. Coach Hill, thanks again for joining us here on the Varsity Sports Show.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me.
Coach, let's talk a little bit, first of all, about I want to start off running and address the 800-pound elephant in the room here, and the fact that you are having to fill some shoes out here. Did you know what you were getting into when you took this job?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the tradition here at Saguaro and what Jason Mons and so many other coaches have done here is amazing. And that was a big reason why I wanted to take the job. We had a great administration here, but you know, guys know how to win, and a lot of people want to play. You know, here at Saguaro.
I want to address this, and Jodeci's going to ask you some questions here in just a moment. But talk a little bit about your first week of spring ball. How's it going?
It's going good. You know, it's been nice being out there on the field with the guys, and you know, you're installing a new offense and new terminology, and you know, a lot of times, especially for high school, you're focusing on the techniques and the alignment assignment, that type of stuff, and you know, a lot of the physical stuff, getting back into it. But you know, being a new head coach and new you know, offensive coordinator here at Saguaro, you know, the guys are getting used to a new scheme and a new operation, and so that's a lot of our focus, a lot of our meeting time, a lot of our practice time is going to be more team driven and making sure that they understand what we're doing as an offense and defense. So, but it's been fun. The guys have been excited to get out there and obviously add some juice once the college coaches get out here too, and they're watching practices or lift or whatever it is. But it's been fun. Our coaches have done a phenomenal job. We've got a great coaching staff, assistant coaching staff here, and a lot of excitement for sure.
Perfect. Coach Hill, Jodeci here with the Varsity Sports Show. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. So, Coach, the first time I spoke with you, it was the first interview that you've done with anybody at any Arizona radio station. Now you've been here, you kind of got acclimated with Saguaro. So tell me about that experience, getting yourself in that culture.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was a good transition. Getting hired. I think it was back in January, and like I said, I think Matt Harris and Miss A, our principal, does an amazing job with the school overall and the kids and the players. Definitely an investment in football and all the other sports that are going on at Saguaro. So the transition was easy, and they made it very easy as well. I know Jason Mons pretty well, and we have that familiarity, so we can go kind of back and forth and bounce ideas off each other. Obviously, he's at Arizona State, and I'm moving into his school, so it's been a fun transition and meeting some more coaches around the area and getting into this high school ball. There's a lot of excitement around it. There's a lot of good players here in Arizona, and excited and honored to be a part of Saguaro football.
Every coach puts their own kind of trademark on a program, and so what is Zach Hill's trademark going to be at Saguaro as opposed to what the last guy did? I can't remember his name, but the last guy.
Right.
He's probably listening to me right now. Anyway, yeah.
I hope he is. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, okay.
He's probably on the road recruiting right now, actually.
Yeah.
But no, as far as just my stamp, I think we're just going to focus on the day-to-day, getting better and building that foundation. Obviously the guys know how to win, and they've been a part of a winning culture. So that makes the transition a whole lot easier. But, I think we, as a, core values and standards and expectations standpoint, we're going to be about discipline and toughness, and then the chemistry and conviction of what we're doing, enjoying the people that we're around and having good excitement on the field. And at the end of the day, we got to compete and play for each other. So right now it's just about getting to know each other and building that trust. Having a new head coach for these coaches, for these players is not an easy thing, and that's not an easy transition. So I've got to build that trust with the coaches and players, and in turn they're trying to do the same thing, because everything moves a lot easier and a lot more smoothly if there's that trust, but you've got to earn it. And that's what the players got to realize. That's coaches as well. That we've got to earn that trust, and by our hard work and our accountability and how we handle ourselves.
Perfect, Coach Hill. Thank you so much for your time. Once again, we have Coach Zach Hill, brand new coach of Saguaro football. Coach, we're looking forward to seeing you this season and covering all of it and getting to know you.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you, Coach. Up next, we have the Sunday Report with Eric Castiglione, and we are so excited to hear that. And then we are all set for the day, and you guys tune on right into NFHS Varsity Sports Show to listen to our Saguaro baseball report against the ALA Queen Creek. Don't go anywhere. This is the Varsity Sports Show.
It's time for the Sun Devil Report with Eric Castellon, bringing you all the latest sports news around Arizona State University. Good morning and welcome to the Sun Devil Report. I'm your host, Eric Castellon. We have a lot to check in on around ASU athletics, so let's jump right in. Arguably the hottest team that ASU has to offer right now is the baseball team, as they just wrapped up a week that started awful, but they were able to finish strong. That awful start for the 19th ranked Devils was a trip down to Tucson last Wednesday to take on rival Arizona, and by the time they hit the road back to Phoenix, they suffered a 20-0 loss. ASU still won the season series against that school down south 3-1, but this certainly was a bitter end to what seemed like a one-sided series. After that, they came home to take on 21st ranked Oregon State in a huge conference showdown. Despite a tough 13-11 loss on Friday night, the Devils won 11-7 on Saturday, thanks to a walk-off grand slam from Isaiah Jackson. They won again on Sunday afternoon in a chaotic 12-10 victory that won them the series against the Beavers. As a result, the Devils moved up 2 spots in the national polls to 17th and are now in sole possession of first in the Pac-12 at 13-4 and also 27-12 overall. Up next for the Devils is a 2-game home series against Cal State Fullerton and then a weekend trip to Eugene to take on Oregon. Staying on the diamond, the ASU softball team is getting closer to the end of their season as they look to turn it around after what's been a tough 2-week stretch. They've lost their last 8 games, but part of that has been back-to-back conference series against 19th-ranked Oregon and 2nd-ranked UCLA. In between those was a home loss to GCU, and now the Lady Devils will look to bounce back to end the year strong. Up next is a conference series this weekend against Stanford as they look to build their resume as they get closer to tournament time. ASU is currently 21-20 overall, 5-13 in conference play, with 2 weeks left in the regular season. That's going to do it for me this week. Make sure to join me next week on my final segment. But until then, I'm Eric Castellan, and thank you for listening to the Sun Devil Report on the Varsity Sports Radio Show.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. Vince DeLisio and Jodeci Ariana just wrapping up another amazing show out here this week from Saguaro High School, getting ready for some playoff baseball, playoff softball. It's a rarity where you've got both teams hosting within 1 hour of each other. Softball's first at 10 a.m. On our NFHS Network channel. You can head over to the NFHS Network and Google, or I should say search for The Varsity Show. We're going to be carrying that broadcast. Jake and Sebastian are going to be bringing that to you. Bailey is directing it, and our camera operators are all set as well. It's going to be a great show on our production team. And then at 11 a.m., softball is hosting ala-gilbert North in their first-round playoff action. So a lot of moving parts, a lot of things going on out here today, a lot of fun stuff. Thanks again so much for joining us. Thanks, Coach Zach Hill, brand new head football coach at Saguaro, joined us in the last segment. Jodeci, I want to ask you, what's been your impression today? This is coming. Your semester is winding down now. You got some things on the horizon. What do you have coming up? Yeah, you're not an Arizona native. You're from Milwaukee.
No, I am not. Yeah, coming up on the horizon. I have a lot going on right now. I'm graduating in a few weeks. Wrapping up here with you, and just thank you once again for this opportunity. It's been amazing covering all this. It's rare. You're in so many different sports. I think I covered about 4 different sports this semester. So.
Yes, you were the JUCO sports correspondent, and it was fitting because you're graduating from Mesa Community College. Thanks so much to the Mesa Community College community for say that fast 5 times. Right. Mesa Community College community for bringing us such an amazing staff member in Jodeci. Jodeci, you have a lot of talent, a lot of things on the horizon coming up, exciting things in the near term. You're leaving. You're heading out to HBCU country.
Yes, I am. I will be in the good old Jackson, Mississippi. I am going coast to coast. I think that's the thing. I go from one extreme to the other. I can never find the middle, but I'm excited about that.
We're going to be watching you on TV here soon enough and hearing you on the radio, hearing your voice and reporting sports. So you did a heck of a job for us this year. I am so grateful to have met you, and we're not done yet. We've got Varsity Weekly Live coming up next week, so we have some other stuff. So definitely, audience, stay tuned, our amazing listeners, and want to pitch it over to in studio to my old friend, Coach Ed Smith, Easy Ed Smith. Easy Sports show is going to be coming up after us. Coach Smith, what do you got for us?
Hey, Coach, another great show as always on your end. We got Cardinals draft recap. We're also watching them do their thing on day 3. We got Suns Nuggets kicking off tonight, so we'll be talking about that series, D-backs, and other great topics on the show, man. So we're getting ready to roll. Great show as always on your end, man.
Well, I got to ask you, who selects the music every week for your show? Is it you or Javon? I'm thinking it's Javon.
Oh, Javon does all the music. That's the music man, bro. I just stay out of the way.
You got anything good? Well, it's always good. What do you got in particular this week? What's Javon got that he's going to be spinning?
I got some surprises. I got a little bit of funk playing, a couple little funk.
Oh, nice.
Got a little James Brown for sure. James
beautiful.
Brown.
You got to pick our stuff for us. I'm stuck in the 80s. Okay, so anyway, Easy Sports coming up 10 to 12 right after us, guys. Listen in, and Jodeci, take it away.
As always, follow our Twitter at Varsity Show to stay up to date on all of our broadcasts and content. Once again, next up, join Coach Ed Smith and Javon Adams with the Easy Sports Radio Show from 10 to 12. Thanks to our producer in studio, Corey, thank you for listening to Varsity Sports Show. See you next week, and go Varsity.
All right, go Varsity, guys.